All right, have and have not fans. Now, this is one character who a lot of people don't have a lot of interest in due to the fact that his character arc seems to be a never-ending cycle when it goes from season to season. Now, what we're talking about today is, will Wyatt subject himself to substance abuse again? Due to the fact that Anna now left after those two had sex, the question is, will Wyatt have a complete and utter breakdown of his, I guess you could say, mental psyche that he'll need to get something in order to get his mind off Anna? Now, keep in mind that Anna was reluctant to have sex to begin with. I remember this was last season when she was first introduced, and, you know, she had just settled into Wyatt's condo, and the two were just kind of sitting together. I guess you could say she was gauging Wyatt in terms of, you know, who he is as a person, what his dreams and goals are, and they were playing cards at one time. And this was when Wyatt was still coming down from his overdose, when he was wanting nothing more than to get a good hit in terms of, you know, some drugs and whatnot. But Anna thankfully was around to stop him from doing anything reckless. And I remember at one point he even like suggested or even said like, hey, we're not having sex, or having sex. It's like, I think she asked, what do you like to do aside from getting high and whatnot? Sex with women? And it's like, oh, no, we're not doing that. No, I wasn't talking about you. I was just talking about women in general. Wow, do you think I will have sex with you? And, you know, they kind of went back and forth with some playful banter. But Anna was like, no, we're not having sex, because what you want is to have sex in order to be your new cocaine, your new coke, your new drug. Basically, you will be utilizing sex as something you can get addicted off of. It's kind of like when it was right after he overdosed, went back to his place, and then Jeffrey was there, and he wanted Jeffrey to stay by his side the whole time because Jeffrey was his addiction at the point in terms of his companion. Like, hey, I need you while I'm going through this. And then Jeffrey weaned himself away because he knew if I go in there in the hospital checking on him, he's going to want me there all the time. So basically, Jeffrey was his first addiction. Sex would have been his second addiction after the whole overdose thing. Then those two eventually had sex, leading to Anna leaving because she felt compromised in terms of not being a legit counselor anymore. The question a lot of people are saying is whether or not Anna played Wyatt. You know, did she just have sex and leave and now has information that she can give to Oscar? Who knows? But this video is really going to focus more on what's Wyatt going to do next. And the fact that Anna is going to has left, won't return his phone calls and whatnot. I believe the other counselor, I forgot his name. I know that scene was kind of quick, but it's a shame that Wyatt kicked him out because, well, we just know how self-destructive he is. I mean, the fact he doesn't have a counselor anymore, I hope Wyatt does not relapse again. I really want something more from his character. I feel like I speak for a lot of people when I'm tired of seeing the entire cycle of him going through the same motions over and over again. Basically, he's like Candace in the sense that those two are on the brink of death. They come back and then they go back to doing the same destructive thing over and over again. It's ironic because Wyatt abuses like drugs and alcohol, whereas Candace just utilizes her body to get what she wants, and then when she loses it all, then she just kind of thinks things through, but then goes back to exactly where she was before. Kind of like Wyatt blaming his parents for everything, Candace is doing the same thing with Hannah and everybody else in her life that she screwed over. So I believe those two are actually a lot more in common than most would want to, you know, say or think they are. But based off this picture in the preview where we have Wyatt looking into the mirror, he looking kind of high, or, you know, kind of like he's really wanting to get some drugs. It really does stink. I mean, Anna, I don't know. We didn't see enough of her character for me to fully gauge her in terms of what her intentions were. We just know Oscar approached her. She got a call by Oscar and said, hey, I don't want to get involved with you. Please stop calling me. So honestly, I want to say that she had nothing to do with, you know, screwing Wyatt over to Oscar in terms of getting the money back to Jim. That's what I'm thinking right now, but I'm not 100% sure. But we've seen how Wyatt gets, you know, whenever he's like, the cord has been cut to something that he's been addicted to. Because Anna, aside from having sex, she was really bringing out the best in Wyatt. And I'm not saying that the new guy that came over would have been a bad counselor. I'm not saying that at all. He seemed like a really good guy. But the fact that Wyatt is literally going down the same path of destruction, one can only assume that he might use drugs again. However, the fact that he's going down to the jail, I believe, to confront Quita and whatnot about the bank card because Oscar called him, you know, disguised as somebody that worked down there or was somebody at the bank. He's probably going to run into Jeffrey down there, and then those two will talk. He's probably going to tell him what happened with Anna, as well as Jeffrey talking about what his mom did to him. Hopefully, this would allow him to say, you know what, I'm not going to use drugs for my friend Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's going to be coaching me from behind bars. I know that's a weird way of saying it, but we all know Jeffrey wants the best for Wyatt, all right? So I just hope that things wind up without him having to go on drugs, especially because Justin's going to be on his tail as it is due to the fact that he thinks Wyatt and Jeffrey has something going on. So with that being said, do you think Wyatt will relapse this season? Do you think Anna will appear again in the show? I hope he doesn't. I hope his character gets some legitimate growth because, again, with Veronica quote-unquote being out of the picture for a little bit of time, this would be a great time for Wyatt to do something useful with his character aside from getting high. So as always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps me out knowing that you all are watching, commenting, and sharing the videos.